Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I'm answering a question that comes in. I had somebody write in and they were saying that when they run a scan on their website using Google Lighthouse or the Google page speed test or the Google Core Vitals, they have a message in there that says that the LCP, the largest contentful paint, is slow. What can they do about that? So if you're using any of those tools, Google Core Vitals, Google Lighthouse, any of these things, they changed this recently. We're going to talk about this more in depth in a upcoming video, but the largest contentful paint is the element that is at the top of the screen or is in the screen that takes the longest time for the browser to render. So your web browser, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, whatever, it has to pull down the files from the hosting server and create the page out of those files. And it takes time to go and get stuff from the browser, and then it takes time to render it in the browser. So whatever element takes the longest amount of time for the browser to paint, that's going to be what's displayed there. So depending on what it is, you might be able to reduce the speed. Now if it's something like an image, a background image, or something like that, if you're uploading something like a photo or something from your phone is basically like a high definition camera. So you would want to either reduce the size of that photo using something like Photoshop. Maybe it doesn't need to be like 5,000 pixels wide and 3,000 pixels high or whatever. You can usually go smaller than that. There's ways that you can compress images. You can make the actual size of the image like less pixels. You don't need something that big usually. So that's something you can do. Now the person that wrote in, their actual issue with the largest contentful paint, the LCP, was actually like a H2 tag, because at the top of their page they had like what we call a hero area, which is usually like a banner or a big image with some text and maybe like a little button called action button. And the largest element that was at the top of the page, above the fold, as we call it, was this headline tag. It was just like this, big headline. Like, we do this for, whoever they're serving. So in those types of cases, one thing that you might look at is the font that's downloading. So a lot of sites use something like Google Fonts, or they might use Typekit by Adobe to serve up custom fonts. So one thing to look at is how long it takes those to download. When you set up a font package in Google Fonts, it will usually tell you, this is either going to take a long time to download. If you're adding like all kinds of variations, it'll take a long time, it'll take a short time, it'll take a medium amount of time to load these things. These are all things that you can look at. Another thing that you can look at as well is the hosting of your website. Where's your website hosted? If you're hosted on $5 or $10 a month hosting, it's probably not going to be that good. It's going to be slow. It's going to be bogged down. The only way that hosting companies make money at those types of rates is to jam 20,000 websites into a single hosting instance. So in cases like that, your website is going to be slow. Pay for good hosting. That's something that you absolutely should do. Pay for good hosting for your website. That will improve your page speed. That's one of the biggest things that you can do. Another thing to look at is the actual code base of the site. If you're buying one of these Swiss Army knife themes for your website off of something like Theme Forest or Template Monster, and they have everything and the kitchen sink jammed into this theme, that might not be good. That can hurt your speed. So these are all things to look at. I mean, when it comes to largest Contentful Paint, and like Google announced very recently, this is going to be more of a factor than it was. You still need to have the right stuff that people are looking for on the page. Backlinks are still important, but yes, they're trying to push people in the direction of having better user experience and better page speed because it's just more helpful to consumers and customers. All right, hope that answers this question. My name is John Locke. My business is Lockedown Design and SEO, and I'm here on pretty much a daily basis answering questions on SEO. And if you have a question, leave it in the comments below. I'd be very happy to answer. That's all I have for now. Until next time, peace.